Now we get into some important but tricky points. So I'll try to slow down a little bit and look at these in detail. And Andrew, if I lose you at any way, and Al, certainly jump in and ask me some questions here. So of those compliant events, so of your minimum 15 compliant events, at least 80% of them have to have aliquots, so subsamples, collected across, have to have 8 aliquots collected across the hydrograph. So you go, well, why not all events? Why shouldn't all events have 8 aliquots sampled across the hydrograph? This event here that you can see is a good example of why, if we set a hard and fast rule that every event had to have 8 aliquots, this event, which otherwise complies, would be ruled out because it didn't quite get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This event, a short, sharp summer storm, ended before we got to the 8th aliquot. So again, it goes back to the original intent, the SQIDEP, that if the QAPP approved the site, the testing complies with the protocol in all other areas, but we got 7 aliquots instead of 8. Should we really throw this out? And look, it might be a case that that event has an asterisk on it when it's submitted in the final report that says we only got 7 aliquots there. And if that one turns up as something strange with the statistical data, then the evaluation panel may choose to exclude it. That's another reason to perhaps have more than 15 events with your submission. So the next item is that at least 50%, so at least half of your compliant events have to capture the first 70% of the hydrographs. Now, ideally, the intent is to capture as much of the hydrograph as you can. But similar to the 8 aliquot criteria, if we said you have to capture 100% of the hydrograph, it's likely that several valuable events, otherwise compliant events, would be excluded because we didn't capture 100% of it. And here's a good example. The monitoring equipment, when you set these sites up, needs a trigger to turn everything on. So it could just be rainfall, but typically I include flow as well. Otherwise you end up with lots of false triggers. You get one of the rainfall, it turns everything on, and then you don't actually get any flow through the device. So in this example, the first part of the storm is quite intense, and it triggers, but the triggers have lagged the hydrograph a little bit. But then the event is quite a long-term event as well in terms of time and flow. So it's continued for some time after the bottles are full. So if the criteria were to say, hey, look, you've got to have 100% capture of the hydrograph, an event, that would fail. So is that all right? Well, we could just change the programming. So we take it away to allow for a low intensity, long duration event, but then we have no control over whether tomorrow's event is a high intensity, short duration event. And if we're changing code each time between events, then that's another sampling variable that we're changing, which creates more uncertainty around the results. And I wouldn't suggest that's good experimental practice.